Hola, ¿cómo están? Y bienvenidos a una nueva entrevista de Carta Política. Vamos a hacer una parada en un país del que nunca hemos hablado. Vamos a hablar de Finlandia. Finlandia que va a realizar la segunda vuelta de sus elecciones presidenciales este domingo. Y bueno, y nos acompaña un amigo de Finlandia. Él es Florentin Hildén. ¿Lo he pronunciado bien? I pronounced it well?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I think so, yeah.
Él nos va a explicar un poco sobre el proceso político en su país, sobre esta segunda vuelta presidencial. How are you, Florentin? Welcome to Carta Política.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for coming here. So just let's start. What is being voted on in Finland this Sunday?
So this Sunday, there's an election for the presidency. It's the second round. We had 2 weeks ago the first round, and now we're having the second round, the runoff election, with the two candidates, Alexander Stubb, who is from the National Coalition Party, center-right party, and Pekka Haavisto from the Green Party. So those are the two candidates in coming this Sunday up for election.
What can you tell us about the results of the first round? I mean, and the two candidates. What are the principal differences?
Yeah. So the first round, we had like 9 candidates, yes, and both Alexander Stubb and Pekka Haavisto were the front runners all the time, and we also had who finished third, Jussi Halla-aho from the right-wing party Perussuomalaiset, also known as Finns party. So he was the conservative candidate in these elections, and we have to understand that Pekka Haavisto and Alexander Stubb are both liberals. So in the first round, all the conservatives and the right wing dropped out. So now we are in a situation where we have two very liberal candidates. They are so liberal that they could be from the same party, really. So about the differences between these two candidates, there are a few, but they are very scarce. There's not so many. Both of them are gonna have roughly a same kind of political views as they have had, and they have worked before together. But maybe during this campaign, there's pretty much been only one major thing that has made these candidates different from each other, and that's been the question about nuclear weapons. Should they be in Finland? Should they not be? And in a crisis situation, should we allow, let's say, American nukes to be transported to Finland? So this is pretty much the only question that these candidates disagree with. So it tells about how much they agree with everything. They're both pro-NATO, pro-European Union, pro-Ukraine, anti-Russia. They all agree on these things. And the only major disagreement they have is about nuclear weapons. Should they be stored in Finland, or should, in any situation, they be transported to Finnish soil? Because currently the law says here that nuclear weapons are not allowed to be at all on Finnish soil in any situations. So this is the only thing they have been debating about. So I'm telling this because it's the only thing they really have in difference. Nothing else.
That means
Pretty
we
much.
only have a competition between two names. Nothing. That's interesting. But well, we understand that Finland is a parliamentary country, so the presidency is not the head of government of the country. Yeah. What are the powers of the Finnish presidency?
Yeah, so the powers really, there's not so much power in the presidency in itself. The president very much works together with the parliament on all issues. For example, in foreign policy, the law says, or the constitution says, that the president leads the foreign policy with the parliament. They work together on this issue. and the president cannot alone lead foreign policy, and the parliament either, but none of them can alone do it. Then about the defense forces, president is the chief in command, the supreme commander of the armed forces. But even this is very symbolical, as well, the president only appoints the commander of the army, commander of the navy, appointments like this, and they're symbolical. And even in these cases, it's out of the recommendation of the defense forces. So the defense forces recommend somebody and the president just confirms it. I don't think there's ever been a case that the president declines the offer made by, let's say, the defense forces. So yeah, so even this is symbolical. And one thing the president has full power on is to pardon people. He could pardon like criminals, like our current president Sauli Niinistö has done. Not so much, maybe like 5, less than 10 cases, I believe. So this is a power really that the president can solely decide on. Almost all of the cases, it's made in coordination with somebody. And also the president can appoint diplomats, for example, out of the recommendation of the parliament with the foreign ministry, yes. But in all of these cases, they really work together, and the power really is very small. It's like comparable to monarchies like the UK, Sweden, or Norway, where the king has this symbolical power to do stuff like this. So yeah, it's very much comparable to this. So the president is basically a public figurehead over here. The people want just somebody to be their not their hero, but somebody to look up to, like a moral leader, pretty much. Somebody like who can represent Finland abroad in diplomatic meetings and all kinds of situations. So, I usually like to say that the president is like the highest diplomat in the country. He's the main diplomat to work with the people abroad and here in Finland. And it's a kind of job that you need a lot of experience to have it, and experience is very much valued over here. So yeah, so it's pretty much something along the lines of this.
That's very interesting and very, very different than the situation that we have here in Argentina. Is very well. He is the head of the government. I mean, you elect the president, you elect the government. But let's talk about again. Let's back to the competition between the two names, as we say before. We are talking about a competition based in foreign policy. We have the Ukrainian war in the middle. We have a new government different to the before the last government. I understand that you had parliamentary elections the past year. What difference could make the result of the elections, even if Stub or Haavisto win?
Yeah, so basically we had the parliamentary elections last year, and our current president Sauli Niinistö is originally from the party National Coalition Party, or Kokoomus, known here, and our current government is also led by Kokoomus. So these people are from the same party. And if Alexander Stubb wins, he's also from the National Coalition Party. So we are in a situation where presidency is controlled by the National Coalition Party, Prime Minister is from the same party, the Defense Minister is from the same party, and the Foreign Minister is from the same party. So basically, all of Finland's foreign policy is led by people from the same party if Alexander Stubb wins. And in theory, that's already the case with Sauli Niinistö, our current president. But he's really he's an independent. I mean, he ran as an independent in the last election. He has distanced himself from the party, as the president should. It's a tradition here to always resign from the party when you win the presidency. It's a sign to unite all the people that you are above politics and you are like leading all of Finland, and you are not supposed to take any part in domestic policy, for example. But we can talk about the differences between Stubb and Haavisto. Haavisto is probably going to be more human rights oriented than Alexander Stubb. Alexander Stubb is very much oriented towards the West, towards the European Union and towards the United States. He has said that he will, one of his first things this spring, if he wins, is to do a visit to the United States. So he wants to build a good relationship to the United States, and he has also said that he's going to be a NATO president, Alexander Stubb, from the National Coalition Party. Pekka Haavisto, like I said, he's more human rights oriented. He has been the foreign minister for the last, under Sanna Marin's government, the last government before this one. He was the foreign minister for 4 years, and during this time, he traveled extensively to Africa, to Middle East, to China, where in China he brought up human rights issues as the foreign minister of Finland in 2021. And this is something he has said he will do again. And Haavisto, he's from the Green Party, and he's a former, maybe still an environmentalist. So I would assume and think that he is going to bring up a lot more of environmental issues, climate issues, if he becomes president, and especially working with many of those less developed countries in Middle East and in Africa, where we need a lot of cooperation on the field of climate change. So the bottom line is here that Pekka Haavisto may be more oriented towards Middle East, towards Africa, towards China, while Alexander Stubb is going to be more oriented towards America, towards the European Union, and so forth. So maybe this could be some kind of difference they have. That's maybe the major one. But in either case, who becomes president 6 years from now, it's going to be more or less the same situation. So it's not going to be a huge difference after all.
We can't wait for a big change.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
Thank you very much, Florentin. Any last reflection or something you want to share with us before end this?
Yeah. So about the presidency, I don't know if I said this earlier already, but not. But the president can't have any say on domestic policy. I think I briefly mentioned that, but I want to get a big deeper on this. So it's a very strict line that the president cannot have any say on domestic policy here. And already, it was like three days ago, we had every year at the start of the year, Parliament opens and the president is giving a speech in the parliament. Now, current president Niinistö addressed the economy, and some people already thought that maybe he went a bit too far into criticizing maybe the government or all governments that have been passed into power. So I don't know, maybe this is worth mentioning that overall the president is all about foreign policy and about being a public figurehead, not about domestic policy or any internal issues that Finland faces. And it's a fairly new thing. I mean, it came with the current constitution 20 years ago in the year 2000. And ever since it's been like this, and it seems to work pretty well. And our presidents have very high approval ratings. The current president has an approval rating of 90%. The highest it was like 91 or 94. So it's very much insane almost. So it works here, yeah.
Thank you very much, Florentin, for your time, for these words. Y muchas gracias a todos los que nos están viendo y a todos los que nos van a ver. Con eso terminamos esta nueva entrevista de Carta Política. Les recuerdo que pueden seguirnos en Twitter como @politicacarta o en Instagram como Carta Política. Los invito a suscribirse al canal de YouTube y nos estaremos viendo en futuras entrevistas. Muchas gracias.